I'm Lisa Pickering, and welcome to CITV's Press Talk. Here's the most recent news and information from the government of Bermuda.
Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon. On behalf of the Chief Fire Officer, Mr. Reginald Lloyd Birchall, the officers, men and women of the Bermuda Fire and Rescue Service, we wish to welcome you here to the Hamilton Fire Station for the annual Firefighter of the Year Award. But before we begin, I'd like to establish a little protocol, a little housekeeping. We want to acknowledge the presence of some very distinguished persons in the form of our Minister for National Security, the Honorable Wayne Keynes, JP MP. Minister Keynes, thank you for gracing us with your presence. We also would like to acknowledge the Glassford family, the wife of the late person that we are honoring and who this awards presentation is memory of, Ms. Dolores Glassford, their daughter Dion, son Billy, and grandchildren, family, and family members, extended, Bill's brother, and family. And we want to thank you for being here. We also like to thank the media for coming in, sharing this event to the rest of the island. We feel that was very, very important for you to be here. And we want to thank all of the firefighters and other staff members that are here today. Well, this has been a long time coming. Let me just take a moment to reflect on the actual person who you see personalized in the picture here. William Eugene, I believe it was, Glassford. I'm trying to remember that. Glassford, number 51. He was a stalwart. I can't say enough about William Glassford. He was my personal mentor when I joined the fire service back in 1984. He was a firefighter's firefighter. He was literally that. He was one that not only addressed his job as professionally as he could, but he ensured that all of the younger firefighters that he came in and had the opportunity to work with understood their job as well. And his impression was indelible. His presence is still felt among some of us older members that can recall Billy walking around. He had a very powerful, very authoritative voice, and once Billy spoke, everybody listened. He actually carried the weight of an officer at his level, and we just certainly miss him, and we appreciate everything that he brought to the service and represented, and his name certainly lives on here. The Firefighter of the Year Award is the opportunity where we take to recognize one of our firefighters, not because we feel that anyone is really better than the other, but certainly there are hallmarks and there are distinctions that persons make during their career that we would like to just acknowledge. And once a year, we would like to do that. And the history of this award goes back after the passing of William Glassford. By the Glassford family, they approached the fire service, and it was mutual. We said we would love to do that, in order to acknowledge Billy's contribution to the service and also to recognize the impact and the legacy that he left on the fire service. So even though he passed in 1997, his name still lives on. So this award is in memory of his career and his service to the community. The fire service has changed over the years, not only in its personnel, but in its mission. Our mission has expanded over the years to include things such as emergency medical services and airport crash fire rescue. But our culture has changed too, and we are very proud of that. Recently, the government has blessed us where we are now going to recruit again. We are going to be taking on 13 new firefighters in February of this year, and we are so appreciative of the support. We recently graduated 5 new firefighters that have now gone to shift, and we're very proud of them as well. So this Firefighter of the Year Award should not only encourage not only the long-serving firefighters, but also the new firefighters to maintain the high standard that the Bermuda Fire and Rescue Service is known for. And without any further ado, I would now like to invite to the podium our Chief Fire Officer, Mr. Reginald Lloyd Birchall.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Let me say this is a very special occasion. Mr. Glassford, protocol haven't been established. Let me just greet those VIPs that are here today on behalf to actually be able to see this ceremony. I also want to thank some of those people that worked very hard in the background to make sure that this day actually happened. And that's Mr. Gavin Carter. Most of you would know Mr. Gavin Carter because he has done a number of shows for us. And he's probably the king now of our Fire Prevention Week. And Mr. White, Dalton White, also his partner in crime. I call him Thing 1 and Thing 2. They keep me very busy. I'll always remember what I would call Bill. He worked alongside, believe it or not, with his cousin. And most of you probably won't remember him, but that was Patfield Manning. And they shouted at me for so often, for so long. And sometimes I used to run from them because they expected the best. You know, if you clean the truck, it better be clean. If you tested equipment, it better work. If you was training, you better be at your best because you didn't want them shouting at you. We used to have NCOs, one of them was Mr. Pacheco. He didn't have to do any work. Our NCOs, our lieutenants didn't have to do any work because of people like Mr. Glassford and Patfield Manning. They ran the crew. You didn't get to see the NCO. They're the ones that were harsh on you. If you didn't clean the truck properly, if you didn't do your job properly, if you didn't put out the fire properly, they will make sure that you didn't do it again. They would have their own private discipline hearing. And you got the message very quickly. Mr. Glassford, I remember was, when he wasn't shouting at you, was very quiet, believe it or not, very reserved. But if you ticked him off, you got it. You know, he made sure that you started to think about being a professional. Make your time. Don't call in sick when you're not sick. And even if you was just a little sick, try to come in. You know, he was very old school. And believe it or not, his wife was a part of our fire department family. She ran our Christmas parties for the children. And just speaking to her just out in the backyard, she told me she's not asking me. She's going to resurrect our children's Christmas party. So we're going to work alongside of her and get those Christmas parties. We did I would say, our best to try to get this ceremony back up and running. It has been defunct for, I believe, a couple of years. I heard some of the firemen in the background saying, oh, I wonder who they pick for firefighter of the year. You know, it's probably somebody that, you know, does something to a real part. And I tell them, I just laughed, you know, because they're going to be surprised. They are going to be surprised. And believe it or not, I didn't have a vote. And the committee approached me and said, oh, we've picked the firefighter of the year. And I called the name. And they said, how you know? Did you see it? I said, it's too obvious for me. I've seen this individual at fires. He's like a lion. And I'm not going to go on about that because he will guess who it is. Apparently, he doesn't know who it is. Are we going to bring in the... No, not yet? Okay. Do I announce who it is now? Can I announce? Okay. Sometimes I'm the chief. Apparently right now, I'm following the instructions. So at this point, I'm going to invite in the person that has done a lot of work behind the scenes and who's actually controlling this ceremony and what I say. I invite up Mr. Gavin Carter.
I am in no way controlling what the chief says. But we'll talk later, Chief. I'm extremely excited to see everybody here. It's an intimate group, but I think that serves the purpose. To the Glassford family, this was a labor of love. I remember Billy when we first joined, and he was very self-sacrificing, always able to extend his knowledge, his wisdom to anyone that was under him. So we were grateful to take the responsibility of, resurrecting the Firefighter of the Year award. To my brothers in blue, we reached out to the community. We did. And the community responded very, very favorably. They were very generous in what they offered, because the common thread, the sentiment that they said was that we recognize the job that you guys do. And they wanted to show that. They wanted to show their appreciation for that. So right now, I'm gonna name off the awards. And this is what the Firefighter of the Year will be taking home. We have from Travel Edge in the amount of $700, a gift of travel that was donated in conjunction with the Glassford family and our own Fire Service Association. To continue, we have from our friends Rubis, a $100 gas voucher. Let me save that one to last. From Colonial Insurance, they donated a $250 insurance voucher. From the Marketplace, $200 for groceries. Our very own James Waters Service, $200 towards water. From the escape room, and if you guys don't know what the escape room is, it's a room where you have to figure out how to get out of this room. They donated up to 8 people can go down and experience the escape room. Belmont Hills Golf Club donated a round of golf for 4, everything included. The Reefs, a 3-course dinner for 2 at the Reefs. Grotto Bay, a 50-minute natural spa massage. And from Hamilton Princess, they donated from their gold package a 2-night stay, which includes breakfast, buffet, and whatever pleasant amenities they have down there at the Hamilton Princess. So I just wanted to read those off because I think it strikes home that the community loves what we do. And we should do the same thing. We should understand and recognize just how important we are to the community. And when we recognize someone who displays the qualities that will exemplify what we do as an individual, that says a lot. That says a great deal. So, without any further ado, we would like to announce who the recipient of the 2017 Firefighter of the Year. It is none other than Firefighter 88, Mr. Lionel Cortland Furby.
That's him. That's him.
Him and his family.
Excuse me one sec.
Okay.
And ladies and gentlemen, we knew that this was going to happen. Lionel, we set you up. We did. We did. We set you up. We'll let you catch yourself. I do my ad lib work until you catch yourself. But we recognized some months back that this individual displayed qualities that we knew that William Glassford displayed. The same stories that the chief had just mentioned. We saw that months ago in Lionel, the way he motivated his crew, his attention to detail for the most mundane responsibilities on the job. I've never seen anyone inspect and do inventory on a medical bag like Lionel does. And it's day after day, even if the bag hasn't moved. And that's what we require. That's what we need, because we don't know the situations that we're going to end up in. And this gentleman has displayed those qualities to a T. And again, I think he deserves another round of applause.
Yes. No problem.
Congratulations. You are very deserved.
Let me just add, we recently experienced a very bad fire in St. George's. I was told that Lionel made multiple entries to try to put that fire out, putting his life at risk time and time again until he was told he cannot go in no more because we felt that he had already exhausted himself. This is the type of firefighters that we have, that it didn't matter to him about putting everything at risk. What mattered to him is that we showed that professionalism, that degree of commitment to the job. And this was the type of person that I saw in William Glassford when I was a fresh firefighter, that he would put on his BA, which is a breathing apparatus, time and time again at some of the bad fires. And he loved taking me with him, I don't know why. But he had nicknamed me Sprouty, as Dolores will remember, and I rejected that name. I fought, but they still gave it to me. They wouldn't let me out of it. I was Sprouty, that was it. And this is the type of example that Mr. Lionel Furbett has shown, even recently at that fire, going in again and again to having to be told, that's it. And believe it or not, like I said, when the committee came to me, I called it. I didn't know what the vote was. I said, I know who the firefighter of the year is. It's Mr. Lionel Furbett. They said, how you know? I said, I have eyes, I have ears. And I knew it was him. So I want to congratulate him personally. I'm really proud of him. I'm actually proud of all the men and women that work in the fire department because I think they do an excellent job. But today, it's Lionel's Day.
Let me say a few words.
Believe it or not, while we were setting this up, he was giving us a hand. And he came up here and he said a speech. And I said to those guys, wait. We'll see what he has to say when it's for real, because he didn't know. So I hand the mic over to Lionel if he wants to say a few words, or if he wants to try to remember what he said previously.
Good afternoon, everybody. I'm not a public speaker, but I'm not shy either. But I'm very humbled for this. It was never my good or an ambition of mine. I just come here to do my job and to do it to the best of my ability because that's how I was raised. You know, that's what was instilled in me by my mother. So, thank you very much. I'm very humbled.
And on that note, we'd like to thank everyone for coming here to Hamilton Fire Station. We want to again congratulate Lionel, and thank you to all those that support the fire services, from the minister all the way down and the community. Thank you. Please join us in the back for some refreshments, mingle, and just have a sort of chew and chat. Thank you very much.
You've been watching Press Talk right here on CITV. Join us next time for your government's news and information. I'm Lisa Pickering.